So my dilemma is, do I give up a car that I've been building for 5 years, that I've almost, perfected in my opinion, like to my liking, for something new, fresh slate, and obviously more expensive?
Mm-hmm.
Is another $150,000 going to bring me that much more satisfaction out of a summer car? It's fast, it's nimble, it does everything I wanted to do. It has back seats, I could take my kids with me. You can drive really relaxed and kind of civil with the car, or you can have a lot of fun and it feels violent, right? So you have almost like a two cars in one. The power level on the GT3 is, for me, it's adequate. I don't need a 1,000 horsepower car.
The amount of patience that you guys have is unreal. Because something like that enters my mind, it'll be eating me up day and night.
Money talks.
Yeah, money talks. And I'm also waiting out to see how the market looks this spring and summer, because we've been doing a lot of podcasts and discussion around the values of cars with the new ones coming out.
My third pick was the Toyota Corolla GR.
But last week, about 46 grand?
Yeah, all-wheel drive. I just love the way the thing looks. It's so aggressive.
You guys are putting
35K?
35,000 for a WRX, well-pointed manual. Like, I mean, you can't argue with that. Like, I'll take the plastic dashboard.
My third on Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. I have to say, we've been on a really good track, just getting consistent episodes down on a weekly
Are we like
basis.
3 for 3 now?
Yeah.
All right.
So all of this is thanks to you all as well, commenting and providing ideas in terms of what we should be discussing and so on. So that's bringing these guys back to do more. So let's keep that
motivated.
Yes. So last episode, we talked about my dilemma on trading in my GT3 RS for the MC20. It's a big move. And I think a lot of people have been saying you're crazy over in the comments and things like that too. Some are very receptive to it.
To be honest though, I was actually quite surprised by the comments.
Oh yeah?
Because there was a lot of positivity.
Yeah.
And I guess people are seeing it from, your perspective and lifestyle perspective more so than the market perspective.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, the conflicting factor is the market perspective.
Well, I think it was such a well laid out argument. That's probably why.
Yes. Well, it's also different scenery, right?
Yeah, the change of scenery did it.
Fresh new perspective. Yeah. So in this one, we thought we put Lucas on the hot seat. He's been going through a certain dilemma as well with his BMW F80 M3, looking to trade it in for something else or add something to the fleet to bring excitement back to his car journey. So we've got the both of them here. We'll debate the pros and cons. And then we have a couple of other topics. We're going to pick the top 3 winter cars for under $60,000.
Right.
And the top 3 Porsche cars for under 150, around 150K.
Well, that kind of dovetails into Lucas's dilemma, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I'd say
Right.
I'd say kind of it does, but yeah.
Okay, I guess as we have this conversation, we'll probably
We'll revisit that when we go over the cars, I guess.
Yeah, it would be nice to know what you all think as well in terms of your winter car, your ideal winter car for $60,000, or your favorite Porsche car for under $150,000 as well. So let us know. Let's get this started. Let's start with you.
Yeah. So my dilemma.
Yeah, what is the dilemma?
So my dilemma is, do I give up a car that I've been building for 5 years, that I've almost, perfected in my opinion, like to my liking, for something new, fresh slate, and obviously more expensive? I guess the short answer is yes, I would do it. But then the long answer is the cost factor, right? So at first I was struggling with the idea, because I was debating trading the car in actually last year, because they had a really nice spec GT3 at Mark Motors. And I actually dealt with the owner of that car because it was on consignment. He was in Florida, back and forth. And the thing that really steered me away at the end was just the amount of money that he wanted over the original MSRP of that car. And like you see it kind of happening now, I was scared to pay that much over MSRP on a car that I thought might lose all of that in the next 2-3 years. So I didn't pull the trigger. And now looking back, actually that value hasn't changed.
Yeah.
What he was asking then is what they're going for now, pretty much.
Well,
Is there an element to like preempting this conversation? It's like you very insta famous. And you get a lot of people reaching out offering to buy your car. It is probably the world's best F80 M3.
Yeah.
And that you're always confronted with, okay, if I do this and go ahead and say we picked a number of 150,000, it's probably worth that and more. What do you replace it with? I think that's your dilemma.
That's
right?
the biggest dilemma.
Like,
So I've had two really serious offers on the car that are, I think, very appropriate, for what the car is. You can't really account all the mods that are in the car because obviously those don't really raise the value, but they do contribute to the car's, appeal, I guess. So I'd say the number I was given is more than what the car was brand new in 2016. So considering depreciation and all the mods that are there, I think it's a fair number for what it is. But
I think you would still be losing money at that, but it's still market value. You're getting treated fairly.
Yes, like I'd probably be losing some money on obviously the mods that are in there because there's some high ticket items in there that if I took them out, I could probably sell for like 80 grand.
Way more, yeah.
So, that's the biggest thing. So let's say I did pull the trigger and I sold it for 140,000 Canadian. Okay. What is there to upgrade to for 140,000? And this might relate to, the cars under 150 we kind of talk about later on. But for me, the car that I would want to replace it with is double that value. Right. So now you have to ask yourself, is another $150,000 going to bring me that much more satisfaction out of a summer car? And mind you, that's not modified. I can't leave the car stock. Like you need exhaust. You need, suspension. I would do, like, if I got a GT3.
So it's 3 times the 150.
Yeah, like honestly, what I would do, I already have like this planned out in my head. I would do a full MR conversion on it. So it'd be like suspension from MR. It'd be the wing. It'd be the aero front lip. It'd be like
discs.
Yeah, no aero discs. No aero discs. I'm not there. A more civilized street version of it, but it's an MR car, and that's probably another, I'd say 50,000.
So if I could pull back a little bit and ask, you've kind of highlighted the Insta famous aspect of it. You're so rooted into BMW, and BMW has such a massive community of modders and tuners and so on. Would you leave all that behind potentially?
Well, let me just start with this. Like, even though I have the M3 and I'm very much invested in the car, me selling it is not because I don't like it. I actually love that car. And if I could, I wouldn't be selling it. So that also, and even though I have, the X5 and the BMW, I simply own those cars because they're great cars. I'm not buying them because of the brand or the badge. There are other cars that are great. I just find for the value you get and what you're getting, those two cars are probably top tier in their categories.
And if he thought that way, Prabhu, he'd still be driving a Volkswagen because Dubcest
is literally
about nothing to do with BMW.
Nothing. It's everything to do with Volkswagen, really, right?
And I've had more Volkswagens. I have more claim to Dubcest than he does. I've had like 7 Volkswagens. He's had like 2. One.
Volkswagen. Yeah.
And I think there's just if I'm thinking about OMGT3, like there's a lot of a lot of cachet with Porsche on social media. So you'd be fine. I'm hoping you do.
I mean, it's the other option is obviously to give up on the replacement option and add a car. And I've been debating, obviously we've gone over the $40,000, $50,000 cars that are, great value, and everything keeps coming back to Corvette. Z06 or an E92 M3.
Which generation Corvette?
C6, yeah. I think those are. I actually like that styling the most, and I find it is kind of timeless in a sense. I like the round taillights at the back that they still kind of kept on that generation. Great motor. Interior is a bit needs work. That's the only thing about that Corvette. The interior needs work. The other option would be the E92 M3. Which is also great value. You can $60,000 gets you a low mileage, great E92 LCI comp, and great platform to work with. I know Eric's probably going to say RS4. That's another
10 of
option.
them.
10 of them. But I think if I was adding a car, I'd want to add a 2-door, not a 4-door.
So if you added a car, and the budget wouldn't be 150, be down to 60.
It'd be down to 60.
And
then the problem with that is so let's say that's almost like putting myself back from achieving what I want to get in the future. So why spend the 60 now and play with it when I can just, save a bit of money and wait till I can get what I really want?
Well, maybe, but probably could we not change his mind? Like what if we had 3 great examples of Porsches that you could get into for 150 or less?
Well, I'm trying to get to the root of why he wants to make that move. If the BMW, the F80 M3 is perfect in many ways and it's achieving all of the things that you're looking for, what's the drive to move to something else?
I think it's just I enjoy the process of modding the car
and out of things.
And I haven't really run out because I can go extreme. I just don't want to. I want to keep it still like OEM plus. So I don't want to start doing things that I don't think are OEM plus, because after it'll ruin the car in my opinion. And even so the best thing would be either to get a new car or to add a new project to work on something else. Because I like working on the car, and I'm at the crossroads where do I just start replacing parts? Like, do I just change the steering wheel now for a different steering wheel? I'm just playing with parts that I don't really need to change.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get rid of the car. That's the biggest thing. I actually enjoy. I've owned many cars. This is the longest I've owned a car aside from the Z4M Coupe, and no issues, like cheap maintenance. It's fast, it's nimble, it does everything I wanted to do. It has back seats. I could take my kids with me. It does everything. So, and to be honest, this might refer back to the 3 cars again later in the conversation, but I enjoy the turbo motor. I just find it gives you a bit of both. Some turbo cars are quiet, I have to admit, because like turbos typically suck the sound out of the car. I think it applies more for Porsches, to be honest, because when you hear like Eric's car and you hear the replacement Carrera with the turbos, it doesn't sound nearly as good. With the M3, there's a lot of volume there, and I was actually surprised how much sounds the car is capable of making, being turbocharged. In comparison to like an NA motor. And even the drivability of like my Z4M Coupe, great car, fantastic. I had tons of fun with it. But I prefer the power and the feel of the M3, just because it's still progressive, but there's a lot more of it. So you can drive really relaxed and kind of civil with the car, or you can have a lot of fun and it feels violent, right? So you have almost like a 2 cars in one.
Yeah. So I guess the replacement has to achieve all those things and surpass it. Which is a tall order for whatever.
I mean, even if you had your dream, like the GT3 that you were talking about earlier, it wouldn't. Everything you just listed, it wouldn't check off all those boxes.
It doesn't.
It's not going to be turbocharged.
No,
it's not going to have back seats. And,
that's right. Back seats are still. I mean, you can make that work. I've driven your car, and like, there's obviously less jump from the get go, but the power level on the GT3 is, for me, it's adequate. I don't need a 1,000 horsepower car. I think like the way that the GT3 sits is a very fair balance between that high revving, powerful NA motor and still low end torque, because
it's the power to weight distribution as well, right?
Yes.
So like from a power to weight scenario, it's lightweight, relatively speaking.
What's the weight on a GT3? Do you know?
We looked it up last time. It's like 3,300 pounds
or something around that.
I think
my M3 is 3450, I think. It's not that far off. They gain weight in the G series. I think they're like 3,800 or 3,900. But the car isn't heavy by any means. Mind you, I have a lot of carbon on there.
Just take it to the weigh station. You're probably 100 pounds.
We'll go on the highway, on the stations you pull into and weigh the trucks. Do you think they do it or not?
I haven't seen
you go to the dump. They weigh it on the way in and the way out.
Yeah, I bring my car to the dump.
No, he's not going to make it, man. He's going to be
so on the ramp.
He's not going to get up the ramp.
Yeah, you get up on the ramp. It's fine.
So I mean, I guess for most VW owners, when they start off,
is it the progression? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it is. It is a natural progression. Most people kind of talk about it that way, right? VW to BMW to Porsche. So it seems like a natural progression. Like you've had multiple BMWs already, and now it's like, okay, Porsche seems like a natural way to go. So that's set in stone.
Yeah.
So now the question is, does it achieve all of what you want out of it?
Because the new M3, M4, M4 CS, CSL, Terry has a CSL, fantastic car, lots and lots of value in that car, even though it's expensive. Because
it's like 180, 190?
You can get, the new CS is 165. It's an M4 CS. And when you look at the car as a package, the lights, the body, the carbon, the interior, the seats, like it's decked. You have basically a full option brand new car with warranty and everything else for 160. Find me a car like that that'll do that. You just can't. It doesn't exist, you know?
Yeah.
So even though everyone's complaining the M3 went up in value and this and that, but it's still great value, you know? So do you buy a 2014 GT3 or do you buy a brand new M4 CS? Like what do you value more? Or are you just jumping into the platform because of, you know, the brand?
The clout of it.
You have to kind of, you have to, I mean, that's just personal preference, in my opinion. And I've told of ideas even, like I was looking at E30 M3s and 964s, something older.
Oh.
And then after...
To add to the fleet as opposed to replace?
Like a replacement.
Still a replacement,
right?
Okay.
But then after I come back to, like, can I own an older car? Like, is this a car I can go and just turn it on and go for, you know, like a drive, Sunday morning drive, you know, with you guys down back roads, come back and park it? Will there be issues? Like, am I going to run into like something with the oil or a clutch or gaskets? You know, it's just an older car is an older car. And I think those kind of cars are meant to be driven more delicately, not so aggressively. And there's things you can't do with that car that you can do with a modern car. So if I was to choose one, I'm swaying towards the modern car, more so towards the older car. My brother bought a beautiful BMW 635, you know, slammed it on BBSs, and we were out in Toronto driving. You filmed the car, and like it looks awesome. It's great. It's a great cruiser, and I'd love to have something like that in my, even a 964 or an E30, like slammed on some nice wheels to go out on a Sunday drive. Can that be my only car? No, I just can't do it.
I think for your brother's car, it's an aesthetic that he's achieving.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely an aesthetic.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do to the car, it just drives like a very comfortable cruiser, not so much a performance car, right? And there's many reviews on even like E30 versus 964. Yeah. Because those are the two kind of like benchmark cars in that generation. And the 964 had much more power than the E30. Yeah. E30 is a great car. It was their motorsport derived production car that had them enter into, I think they had to go into DTM and they had to have a production car, right? So they made that car because of that. Yeah. But, you know, most of the guys who were reviewing the car, it doesn't have a lot of power. It's a nimble, light car. I think the weight is what attributes to most of its performance.
Those cars were never about like the straight line speeds or anything. It was just take it to like nice twisty roads and go.
Yeah, this is European pedigree. The day, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, I guess part of this is you're so fixated on the Porsche 911 GT3. And when you look at it that way, it's a complete replacement. So it's the thing about the modern tech, reliability. It's also the depreciation aspect we've covered in the past before. The GT3s are those type of cars that you buy, you can own and not really lose a whole lot of value in it, right?
Yes, you're right. Like, but I don't care about that. Yeah. And a simple testament to that is my M3. Yeah. It's a depreciating asset, and it didn't depreciate in my case if I were to sell it. So I really don't care about that, you know?
Yeah, you buck the trend, but that's just because of the whole cachet around the brand you built around the car, the way you've modified it, the way you've maintained it. You know, it's a 0.1% car. Yeah. Right.
So I guess the question is, why all the way to GT3? You know, you mentioned that cost aspect is an important thing. If you had the M3, you could add something to the fleet. If we got something like a 997 GTS or
well, but then I think he's.
But it's going to prolong. It's going to prolong the destination.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Final.
Like I don't want to have a filler car that I'm not 100% happy with or that I really want. I feel like if I got something like a filler car. One, you have to cycle between two cars. There's the maintenance, the washing, the insurance, the modding, the insurance. There's just too much for me to handle with two cars.
I've had 3 cars in my daily driver and 2 fun cars. I couldn't drive them. You didn't have enough time, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of going through that myself.
Well,
now.
Yeah, you have it now. Yeah.
And I'm like thinking to myself, what am I doing?
Right.
And that's not even combining like my wife she drives the X5. but like even though she drives it, like I want to have it clean. So like I want her to drive a clean car. I want to see it clean in my garage.
You might need
so the maintenance on the X5 is another car. Then I have my work truck. Even though it's a work truck, it's a brand new Denali. Like I want it to look good, so I gotta wash it. I wax it too occasionally, even though it's still like my daily driver. I want to have it looking good. It's more maintenance. Like that'd be 4 cars just to wash and detail.
You might need like an automatic car wash system in the garage now.
Yeah, it gets to be a lot, especially with with life in the way.
So wait, is it then set in stone that a GT3 is the next thing that happens?
Yes. And only because I don't think I'll be satisfied with anything else in between.
Yeah.
And we were mentioning, I showed you that there's a 2015 R8 that popped up. Manual V8, white. It was like the last generation of the first generation, I guess. I'm not sure.
They had a facelift of that?
It was the one with the nice LED headlights. It was the 1 year they had that model.
Yeah.
And that'd be the last year of the manual.
Last year of the manual. Great looking car. It's white. It's got carbon pack, like silver wheels. It's a great chassis. My dad had an R8 in red in the V8, and I actually enjoyed driving that car a lot. It was a great car, but 76,000 kilometers, $130,000.
It's a bit.
My car has 35,000 kilometers, and it's fully modified, and I think it brings me no less joy than that car would be to drive.
Yeah.
Well, if you're getting R8, you should rescue Tarsi's old R8 and return it back to it.
It's still on the market.
Yeah, I know. It's been for sale for years, probably.
2
at this
years
point.
now.
Yeah.
Or 3 years.
It's been a long time.
But they're actually asking.
It needs to be fixed.
So Tarsi's car, they're asking 140-some thousand for that car. This is an LCI. I'm not sure what the Audi term is. What's a facelifted Audi? Is there a term for that?
They usually have a .5. I forget the model code.
That's like you're right. It's .5, like half.
Yeah.
So it's a .5 R8, okay? For 130. So it's 10,000 less. The mileage, I think Tarsi's car was lower mileage though.
See, the .1 V10s in a manual is a little bit less money. And I think I would go that way and retrofit the LED lights, do bucket seats and things like that, and save that money to get.
Yeah, you're going to do the suspension, and they have suspension problems, but that's fine for people like we're going to put coilovers on anyways. And, yeah.
Do you would rather get the V10 over the V8?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%. I think that will be the future. Since Lamborghini's not doing it anymore,
I think they'll do very well in value too.
Like another 10 years, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
I think they're. It's already on the upward trend right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right. as of this moment, I'm gonna stay in the car.
You're a hold on the M3.
I'm a hold on the M3. I think if I were to let it go and buy something to replace it that isn't a GT3, I would really, really look back and say that was a horrible mistake.
Yeah.
It might not. Just time wasted.
Time. Yeah.
It's fun. I don't know how you guys do it. The amount of patience that you guys have is unreal. Because something like that enters my mind, it'll be eating me up day and night.
So you got a little bit of Terry in you.
Once the seed is planted, it grows fast.
Yeah. But you know why though, Prabhu? I think half of the fun is that, I have a car that's paid and sitting in the garage.
Yeah.
So it's not in the way in any shape or form. And the hunt is part of the fun.
You're right. Like before I bought my existing 911, I'd had 2 cars. I sold them both, and there was about a 3 year time.
Oh yeah.
Where I didn't have that. I was in Toronto and living a busy life, and every night I was looking.
Yeah.
It occupies your time.
It's fun.
You've got your searches set up. Like we know that Auto Trader website, like inside out.
Yeah.
But Kim says this to me. While we're always looking for a deal, good value car that'll check all the boxes that we care about. And we're hoping that if we always look, if you're regimentedly looking at it, you'll find something. But Kim says to me this whole time, it's like, doesn't matter. You can put it all away. She tells me to put it away because I consume my time with it. She's like, as soon as you start looking, the one you're looking for will show up.
Not true. Not true.
If you look hard enough.
There's always something like, for example, I was eyeballing this GT3 out in Kelowna.
Red one?
Carmine red, which was, I really, I'm not a huge fan of guards. I just find it's a bit orangey. And especially when it's not clean, it doesn't have the same
glow.
I like Guards red, but I prefer Carmine. It's a darker, more rich red. So this popped up, Carmine red, CCBs, low mileage, like full interior, like stitching, everything, deviated stitching, bucket seats. It had painted red trim. I don't love it. Like I'd have to change the trim. Like I don't want painted
like the center
and the trim around was all red. Like I would take all that out and put carbon or brushed aluminum.
I don't like when people do that. Leave the outside outside.
Yes, like paint belongs on the outside of the car. I don't like paint in the car.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just not for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, great car, but there was that one thing that I didn't like about it. So
but you could change that easily.
you could change it, but I mean that's. I could just dismiss it and keep searching.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it gives you a reason to dismiss it. Yeah.
There's always something that doesn't work. So that's why the one that I saw 2 years ago was actually perfect. It was chalk. It had all the specs I wanted.
The
Had
GT3,
CCBs. Had black matrix. Had the only thing it did have that I didn't want is full PPF.
Yeah.
I actually don't like PPF on the whole car. I just find it. Believe it or not, I've had numerous cars with PPF, even the UX5. Once it's marred to a certain extent or scratched, you cannot fix the PPF.
You got to take it all out.
You can fix clear coat, you can repolish it, you can do a bunch of stuff, but PPF, once you scratch or micro scratch it, the self-healing attributes aren't there. It just so after 3 years, the hood PPF needs to be replaced, to be honest. And having the whole car in PPF, I don't know.
Okay, so you're like Jerry Seinfeld. She eats her peas one at a time. When you're doing your car search, you're excluding for like trivial reasons, but it's part of the search and the process.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like Lydia was happy for me when I finally got the my 997.2. Partially because it's the car, but also because the search would stop and she might have her husband back a little more and not always looking for the next car. So
yeah. Oh, there you go. There's some truth to it. Yeah. How about this? Let's move on.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you all think? What is do you agree with Lucas's approach of waiting for the perfect GT3? My only worry is that.
And if you want to buy his M3, put it in the comments. Offer.
Not yet, not for sale yet.
Yeah, money talks.
Yeah, money talks. And I'm also waiting out to see how the market looks this spring and summer because we've been doing a lot of podcasts and discussion around the values of cars with the new ones coming out and so forth. So I'm gonna just see how the values play.
Just to confirm, it's the 991.2 GT3, right?
Yeah.
Not the 992.
I mean, I like the 992. I think that car has great presence, but I prefer the analog features of the 991.2 more. If I'm getting a GT3, I'd probably get a 991.2.
Manual, carbon ceramic brakes, bucket seats.
Yeah. Nice paint. I mean, I don't think I'd get like. I like white. GT silver, not so much in that car. I don't think it matches.
I agree.
That body.
You need sharp lines for
it.
Needs
I like white because it's a very motorsport color on that car, and I think you can make it look good. But I love a red. I'd even do like a yellow PTS yellow on it or something.
Oh, the one on the Instagram
Signal
there.
Yellow.
Signal yellow.
Signal yellow. Yeah. Is amazing.
Yeah.
With the ducklet.
And I've never had a yellow car, and I think it'd be fun to have a yellow car.
I think the right yellow changes the car so much.
Yeah. Megan would hate me though.
What?
She hates yellow cars.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Well, you change your mind.
I think signal yellow it could be an orange. You could tell her it's an orange.
It is orange.
She would believe you.
Yeah.
It's like a New York cab.
Did you say she believes you?
You just tell her it's orange.
This car is blue.
We all go along with it. I know what you're saying. It's orange.
I don't think she's watching this, but maybe you should. We'll create a small clip.
Send the link.
Let's see. We'll know if she's watching.
Yeah.
She says
If she responds.
All right. Let's move on then. In summary, the F80 M3 is a hold until the right 991.2 GT3 shows up for Lucas, and then we'll probably have a separate conversation.
We'll see where we go. Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys want to hear Eric's dilemma, potentially.
I don't have any dilemmas. My life. Next up, my wife. I think we got to get close to replacing her GLC 43.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's actually a topic.
Options for that.
Okay, so there you go. Like a daily replacement
for her. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's move on to the next topic, which is the top 3 winter cars under 60K. Let's go around the table and list out your top 3, and then go ahead.
Are you going like 3 to 1? Yeah, go 3 to 1.
Just pull up my notepad here.
Oh yeah.
All right. 3 winter dailies, right? So like it's got to be a daily / winter kind of car.
I feel like you need glasses on now too.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I could have given you my 3.
So the first one I think is by far the nicest, like best value car as a winter daily is the Golf R. I think you have all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
You have the ZF transmission in it now, so it's a nice automatic. It drives well.
Oh, you do automatic.
Yeah, I would do.
They do, yeah, the DSG, yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I think a lot of the new cars do really well with the PDKs, DCTs, ZFs. ZF has gone a long way.
Of course.
It's not even an automatic anymore. It's like borderline PDK at this point.
Yeah.
You know, what was in the Maserati?
That was the ZF.
ZF. How did you like it?
That was good. It's pretty straightforward.
Like when you were, I watched the clips. You were paddling, you know, using the paddles. It seemed fairly responsive.
It was very direct.
Timing. So
no lag.
No lag.
No.
So ZF is great. So Golf R.
So that's my pick too.
Automatic. Okay. So
Actually, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's my.
So second one, even though I try to go for practicality as well. So the Golf is 4-door. It's got a hatch. It looks great, and obviously the 4Motion or all-wheel drive. Front-wheel biased, I believe, because the Haldex system and everything else.
Yeah.
But still all-wheel drive, so it'll get you out of a mess if you're stuck. Second one, even though it's down on practicality, is the BMW M240i.
Ooh.
Because I think that car is right on the
X-Drive or rear?
X-Drive.
Okay.
It's right on the cusp of that 60K mark, but it's a phenomenal driving car.
Is that what Ed has?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great bang for buck. It's got all the tech within US iDrive 8.
Well, you're talking brand new, right?
This is brand new cars. Well, I can buy a used, what is it, a Rolls-Royce Ghost now?
Yeah. And not for 60 grand.
120 grand.
Yeah. So M240i.
Yeah.
I'd probably also get the ZF just because it's a daily and it's a fantastic transmission. I'm not sure they even come in manual. I don't think they do.
No, not
you can't buy a
240i.
manual. That's only the M2.
X-Drive doesn't do manual.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
So M240i. Downside, obviously the 2-door. The 2-door, the longer doors, parking lots. If you have kids or putting cargo in the back, obviously a downfall. But anyways, great car. Yeah. And then the third car, just announced, Subaru STI.
Oh.
But
I saw that coming.
But there's a big catch there.
Oh.
The STI, apparently, it was revealed it comes with only a CVT now.
Oh.
Can you believe that?
They were always manuals.
Yes, they were always manuals, and at least go to like a good automatic if you're going to be going that direction. But the rumors are saying it's got a CVT.
That's brutal.
Does the other Subaru lineup, like cars in the lineup, have CVT?
They have manuals.
No, but like an Outback.
I think those are CVT.
They're CVT?
They are, okay.
Yeah.
So that's why they've done that.
So I'm not sure how it drives or how it's going to drive or how it's going to... But I mean, a CVT is a CVT.
Man, can you imagine that? A CVT rally racer?
Performance car?
Yeah. Like, what's the point of coming out with the STI if you're slapping in a CVT?
This is like a badging exercise.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are the rumors that are associated with the reveal. This is like 1 or 2 sources that have said this, because the car literally got released, like, at the Tokyo show.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's a manual or a good automatic or some variant of a ZF, I think that'd be a great daily driver kind of, everyday car.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We'll debate our choices after we announce it as well. So up to you.
So I have 3. Let me check my note.
Yeah.
Do you have a pencil too?
No, it's all up here. It's be a rough ride. So I had my number 3rd spot was the Golf R as well. I've had a couple of Golfs, like GTIs, great cars. The Golf R, everything that he has said, the practicality of the 4 doors, it's 300 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. So you're getting a fun car to get you through those dreary winter months. It does a lot, and it's all-wheel drive. I think it's for all my picks, all-wheel drive, and they're gonna have snow tires.
Yeah.
In number 2 spot, now this might like screen bias, but I love the Ford Explorer ST line. I think it's just at that 60 mark.
Okay.
SUVs,
okay.
For 60 grand.
60 grand, yeah. It's 61-ish. It depends on how you spec. You could get it under 60.
Okay.
The way
you'll never drive
the way I spec mine is probably a bit almost 70, but you can get 6 row seat, like 6-person seating. You got lots of room. I love it. It's got like the big wheels. I've got snow tires on it. I think it's just a good looking, and I can't tell you how many times I'm at the stoplight.
Police.
Down the window.
Are you police?
No, they say, I love your Range Rover. No, that has never happened, but it could happen because they look so much like a Range Rover.
Yeah.
So that would be my number 2 pick. And I would add to that ground clearance where we live. The plow doesn't come out, so it's nice to have that. This one, my number 1 pick. It probably won't surprise you.
Okay.
GMC Canyon.
What?
I love this pickup truck.
Okay, so he went towards the truck side of things, but Canyon I think is over 60,000 or
no, it depends on the Denali. Yes, over it's like you're up to 70 something.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the GMC Canyon AT4X I think is about 60. Again, depending on how you option them. You're gonna get the ground clearance. And what made me think of this? I went mountain biking yesterday, and I'm a winter mountain biker. And I have the Explorer. I'm putting
the bike inside.
Put the bike inside because you don't want to run it on your rack because the salt, you'll just kill your bike. So you have to keep it inside, and it has studded tires. And I'm tearing up the interior of my Explorer, getting it in and out. And I thought I really need something with the bed.
Yeah.
It's sort of the combination of everything. I can have fun with this truck. Lots of utility with the bed. I can put my bike in the back.
Eric, would Lydia drive a truck?
I'm trying. We had a coffee time this morning. That was the conversation. I'm trying to sell her.
That would be a great idea.
She's such a pickup person, she doesn't even know it. Like
Yeah.
DIY, she's at wood source picking up wood.
And like a Canyon or like an AT4, it's great mix of sportiness, utility, and it's not a big truck. It's
midsize.
I'd say it's not like before the midsize was small. Now the midsize is pretty decent in size. Yeah. So it doesn't feel so minuscule. It feels like a good sized vehicle.
Right.
And it has an awesome road presentation. It's wider, has got wider fenders and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also considered like the Tacoma.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, GMC the interior is way better.
I don't know trucks. I can't
from riding in Lucas's, the interiors are wonderful. For a truck. So the Toyota's interior just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
You get 300 horsepower, 400 pound-feet or 310 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque in the GMC Canyon. So for me, I think that would be the perfect winter. You get the ground clearance, so you can get through the four-wheel drive,
utility.
Yeah. So, and it's about 60. I don't think I'm far off.
The thing with trucks, it's hard to kind of, once you approach go into a truck territory, 60,000 is really like at the borderline of the truck, because they're a lot more than like a Golf R or a Subaru or something.
The Golf R is 54.
It's
No, Golf R is 54,000.
Okay, so it's also just before 60.
Yeah, I looked at
So there's not many options and things that you could do to it.
I think last year was 48, I guess. So I guess the new one must have went up in MSRP a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
So I've got a car, an SUV, and a truck.
Okay.
Shoot. So my third one is the Toyota GR Corolla.
Wait, third one. You didn't. Where's your other?
I have three. I'll start from the bottom.
Okay, gotcha.
So my third pick was the Toyota Corolla GR.
But last week, about 46 grand.
Yeah, all-wheel drive. I just love the way the thing looks. It's so aggressive.
Are they all-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that. I thought they were front.
The GR is, yeah.
Okay,
With
cool.
the manual.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, I'll be happy driving that in the winter, sliding it around.
And I heard it's fun too.
Mm-hmm. And we sat in one and we were shifting through the gears. The manual is very direct.
It is, yeah.
So that would be a really good.
It has that 3-cylinder. You owe me a beer on that. That had problems. Did you look into? I
didn't look into the engine aspects of it or whatever. As a daily,
maybe they fixed it.
I don't know how much I would care about that. I'm not put an exhaust.
No, and not that it's a 3-cylinder, but they had actually engine problems that were the engine
blew up.
Yeah, blowing up.
Oh yeah.
I think they were throwing rods.
I would lease it.
Scoring, I heard.
I would just lease it. Yeah. Wait, that was a Porsche only thing, right? No, I'm kidding. No. The only downside with me for the Toyota GR Corolla is the interior quality, the fit and finish. I don't know. It's just not up to standards for me. I wouldn't take my family around.
I think I say that with all Toyotas. To me, it's just like the interior.
Plasticky.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. And I think, like I had a Tundra back in the day, and back then, I mean, the first gen T100 or whatever it was, it mimicked an F-150. It was even the shape of the console was rounded like the F-150, and all trucks before were kind of more plasticky and utilitarian. They quickly evolved to very well appointed and luxury interior vehicles, and I find the Toyota just didn't follow suit.
Yeah. You'd look at the TRD, which is a very expensive truck, and they have these little screens on them in a $65,000 truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just,
Like,
Even the knobs for like the the HVAC controls or whatever, the volume are like plastic knob.
Yeah.
Like they don't like my Denali has a brushed aluminum like clicky little bezel on all the controls. It just feels more premium inside.
I think it's just maybe the downside to making an affordable, small, compact car like this, right? Like, I mean, they could have gone all the way out, but then it'll also bump up the price. So
Yeah.
I get it. So they're trying to stay
But
with
the
it.
Tacoma, in comparison to like the GMC Canyon, I think it's more expensive.
Oh yeah.
That's a $75,000 truck.
yeah, they're depending on spec, it could be the
Yeah.
same, but certainly there are competitors.
Yeah.
Okay, so number
Alright.
3.
Second one was the Golf R.
Let's get them through before we
Golf R, obviously
Golf
Golf R.
Okay.
Well, I think that's a clear winner in like the daily driver.
But I think for me, the only downside was the interior again.
Why?
I think it's great. Like the ergonomics and everything, the usability is great. But I think for me, I don't know, something about the interior that just doesn't quite.
Have you seen the 2024 or 25?
Yeah, I mean,
I think
don't
it's
get me
great.
wrong, it's
I don't-
great.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's just better interior and luxury that I care for more.
At 60 grand.
At 60 grand.
Really?
Okay,
What
like-
has better interior
like
at
what?
60
Like
grand?
what? Give us an example.
I'll give you my top pick
Okay, all right.
I used Audi RS5 Sportback.
Yeah, but used. We're going new though. It's
Oh,
hard.
really?
Yeah, like the. I
Okay,
mean,
fine.
Yeah.
I'll scale it down to.
You can buy a 2018 Cayenne for 35,000, right? Like it's there's so many different cars that are used. You can pick up for.
You didn't understand the assignment.
No, oh, no one said nothing about new.
Well, yeah, I guess we should have discussed that more.
Yeah.
But there's used market's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
Because there's tons of cars.
You'd all get RS4s.
Yeah, I'd be in 2 RS4s.
Okay, fine. Okay, perhaps if we then my top pick is kind of out the door now.
Okay.
But
So you were gonna go with an RS5 because you had one. It was a great car.
I'd like to have one back.
Yeah.
And I loved everything about it. Right, like in a used market, it's around 60 grand right now. And I would love to have it back. The interior quality, the seats, the Quattro all-wheel drive system. It's pure Quattro all-wheel drive as opposed to the Quattro Ultra that's coming in. All
Could you
these new
ultimately
cars.
get like an A3 or like
You
for
could get an S. Could you
I
get
could
an
get an
S3
S3.
at
S3,
60K?
brand
You'd
new.
be close.
Well, S4 too, but it's 70.
yeah.
I would
I
say.
think S3 because RS3 I think is more than a Golf R, so I can't be under 60. I think you're more into A3 S3 territory when you're going 60K.
But you know, that's the only other downside is those entry-level Audis now, interior quality isn't all that great.
Yeah.
And it used to be their hallmark, eh?
It used to be.
Do you find the Golf R is almost better value?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
If I go back now, now that I understand the assignment, an A4 S or A3, the interior quality isn't quite there. I think you have to get to an S4 or RS3 or an RS5 before the interior quality gets up to spec for what I care about.
I guess the finishes and the materials that are used within the cabin and so forth, right? Yeah.
So if I'm to pick between the Audi A4 or A3 and a Golf R, I take the Golf R. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Great choices. Great choices.
Can I tell you why your choices aren't as good as mine?
Sure.
No ground clearance, guys. No ground clearance.
I live in the city, man. I'm okay.
Listen,
The Subaru STI isn't lowered. It's pretty decent.
I've had an A4 Quattro S line. The system's amazing in the snow, but there was times that I own this car in southwestern Ontario where the winters aren't what they are here in Ottawa, and you are even heavy snowfall. Sometimes you're plowing snow. You're gonna tear lips off and things like that. That's why I ultimately landed on like an SUV or truck.
Ground clear.
So yeah, ground clearance is a factor, but I had one experience. So one of my employees, a couple of years ago, he had the older generation STI, the one that was really highly modded. It was probably one of the last STIs that was really sought after.
I know what you mean.
And
With like the bug eyes or
no, the one after the bug eyes.
Yes, those are really cool.
It was really cool. And so he had one, and it's black, all blacked out, black OZ wheels, like slammed, like lowered. For the winter, it was a manual. He had it boosted and everything else, changed all the internals. And he had it on Hakkapeliita's studded tires.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter. Road clearance doesn't matter. Like that car was going.
you're plowing.
It was going through everything, and it was so much fun to drive, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this wasn't like a show car. It was black, but he didn't care about chips and that kind of stuff. It was just
drove it
to go and just drive, and it did it did that very well, to be honest. And, and it was a lot of fun to drive in the snow.
I think the only downside is the interior space. I
It was
think
cheap too. It was plasticky.
Yeah. That's again Subaru's downfall too, or not downfall, but the negative against Subaru is the quality of the interior is so bad. Like the cloth seats that just.
But the price point reflects that though.
Yeah.
Like it's you can get. We were talking about Subaru the last time we were together, but
35K?
35,000 for a WRX, well-pointed manual. Like, I mean, you can't argue with that. Like, I'll take the plastic dashboard.
From a practicality perspective, your picks were
wins,
yeah. But from all around things that I care about and living in the city, I think I'd still go with an RS5 Sportback.
Yeah,
I'll go find a used
one that didn't really qualify for the
You didn't have a truck because you love your truck.
Because I think that there's very few that's for 60K that I would want.
Yeah,
I think the Canyon's the only exception that would probably even make it into that tier.
The other thing I was thinking about as I put the Canyon on the list was I always, because you have these feelings too sometimes about getting a snowmobile.
Yeah.
Right? You're always tempted, like, oh, maybe this is the winter, it happens, and I want to be able to tow.
Yeah.
In case I'm stupid enough to do that.
Yeah, you have a car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on because I know we're closing in on the hour. We still have another topic to cover. We have 3 more cars each.
We'll start with you.
Okay.
We'll go reverse now.
Okay. All right. So next topic is the top 3 Porsche cars under $150,000. So for me, I didn't think this was hard.
Okay.
But I'll go from the bottom.
Can I make a prediction before you? Not just. I think we're all going to have the same.
Probably.
There's be lots of overlap.
Yeah.
In this one.
I think at least one will be overlapped with the golf cart. There's one that clearly stands out in my opinion for 150. Let's see where this brings us.
So for me, again, this was not brand new, right?
This is just anything.
So I'm glad I understood.
I feel like I want to write mine down just to like prove that I know what's in your head.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
I'll give it a minute then.
Okay.
It's okay if it's in your head. I thought you didn't need the phone.
No, I'm just so it's you guys don't think I'm making it.
No, he's gonna write it down and put his phone down. Then when he say it, he's gonna put the phone up and show you.
Lucas, I'll show you.
Okay.
Wait, why won't you predict his? Am I that?
He's doing it. He's predicting it.
No, yours.
Okay, that's his prediction.
For you.
Yeah.
Not for me.
And I got one more. Okay.
Who?
Go ahead, Prabhu. Go ahead.
All right. My third on the list is a Porsche Cayenne Turbo. I think it's great value for, especially a used one, for 150 grand.
I thought we were doing cars.
Just
Porsches in general.
I mean, I thought, what's with you, man? Did you have coffee this morning? we're on the car level here. You're SUVs, but fair play. It's still Porsche.
Okay.
So it definitely classifies.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Let's...
Okay, I think we might have to be more specific.
Yeah.
No, but it's still Porsche, so it counts as 150. Right. But then after, it really opens up the gates because you can get like a brand new Macan.
No, right? Well, no. So I mean, if you had to pick 3 Porsches in the lineup, I wouldn't pick anything like from an SUV side.
Yeah.
From a practicality side of things, I wouldn't want anything else.
Yeah.
Like a Macan is great. We've had it for many years, but after owning the Cayenne Turbo, the utility, the space, the luxury, the technology in it
just superior.
Puts everything out to shame, right? Yeah. So as a number 3 choice as a favorite Porsche would be a Cayenne Turbo or Cayenne GTS with carbon ceramic brakes.
You own coupe or traditional?
You know, it doesn't matter. I think the coupe takes away from the practicality a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind the hatchback aspect of it. So that was my third pick. The second one was a 911 GT3.
Mm-hmm.
For 150?
Well, I guess the first gen 991.1 beat up version. 150 is cutting it close to a .1 where we discussed with the PDK and the Porsche.
Is that the one you're thinking? 991.1?
Yeah. Shoot, I missed them.
Sorry.
You went over. Okay, so you didn't pick a car and you went over 150.
Okay, so
just name 3 random Porsches. That was
okay. But fair play. It still qualifies at 150 because you can have some. There are some at 150.
Yes.
That are .1s in like not the greatest spec with comfort seats. But sure.
Can I be controversial here?
How much editing can you do on this?
Can I say 996?
996.
Yeah, you can pick
so that's your third pick?
No, that's the GT3.
Oh,
okay.
The 996, the first ever GT3.
Can you get one for 150?
I don't think they can. I think they're
Is it?
more than. I think they're a bit more.
I believe they.
Okay, fine. I failed on this assignment as well. Sorry,
so,
guys.
So let's just say stick with the 991.1.
Okay, we'll just spell the word Porsche. Okay, then we'll move on.
All right.
Okay.
Third pick.
The next one, I'm hoping it stays in the 150 grand. I think it does.
Okay.
It's a 993 4S.
Pretty close to that too. I think.
Okay.
I think you're about 125 for that.
You're close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the way the 99. Oh, did you have that on?
I knew that was the one.
So the reason 4S instead of a 2S is the price point. I think the 993 2S is far more expensive, but on a 4S,
why?
Slightly more.
Isn't the 4S wider?
No. So the Carrera S in that generation was wider.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the 4S was, I think, wide as well, right?
Well,
yeah, the 4S was a wide body.
They were all wide body, but it didn't have to be a four-wheel drive to be wide.
Gotcha.
You got a two-wheel drive wide body as well in the 993. And that's far more desirable for a lot of purists and enthusiasts. And that's cranked up the value. I think it's around 200 grand to 250 with low mileage and things like that.
Yeah.
So for me, a 993 4S, I don't care about it being pure rear-wheel drive. I do that with a GT2 Aero kit.
Okay.
And I love the way that looks.
That does look good.
Yeah.
Air-cooled, the last of it.
Yep.
Just naturally aspirated. I don't want the turbo. The turbos are super expensive. I would never go that far.
For 150, not an option.
No.
Yeah, just get Aero kit. I think Meng is his cousin, is it? Or he has he's got a 993 Carrera S.
Yeah.
And it looks like a turbo. He has the aero kit on it. It has the big wing on it. It looks great, and he loves it.
Yeah, and I like the power delivery of a naturally aspirated engine more than a turbo.
I've never driven the 93 turbo, so I can't really comment like how the delivery feels. I know it's an older turbo car.
Yeah.
So the lag is more evident, than like a newer car. But
yeah.
All right.
So those are my three choices. Although failing miserably.
All right, so I will go from 3 to 1. So my number 3 pick, and I was more thinking if I was trying to convince Lucas to trade on his M3. These are the 3 cars, so they're all cars. So I also had the 993 Carrera 4S.
Oh, nice.
As well. That was sort of my number 3 pick. I think, value all the things you described. I think it's a great contender. It's a beautiful looking car. I think.
I agree.
At one point, I don't know if I feel this way now, but I thought the 993 might be arguably the best design generation of 911. I think I'm probably more the 964 might hold that title, but 993 is a beautiful.
I think we'll debate that.
You know what's funny about that car? I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about how it drives.
Really, eh?
I've heard it doesn't drive that well.
Yeah.
I've heard the 964 drives well. The 996 drives well. 993 didn't drive that well.
So
I don't know why, because I know it was a lot of carryover parts from 964s.
Yeah.
Except for obviously the body.
See, for us, I don't know how much it would matter because I would put on some nice coilovers, get some wheels.
Yeah.
As soon as you put in a suspension system that's aftermarket, it changes the driving.
I'm sure for any of us and a lot of the viewers, that car would drive great on some mods.
Yeah.
But this is, I just heard mixed reviews from people who are comparing these cars, right? So
there's a lot of purists that will not want to mod it. They want to keep it all OEM for value purposes and all that. And from that, I agree. I think it's a bit of a scary car to drive, even on the 4S. People would say, right? You could easily lose the back end.
But there was a time also, like I had this discussion with Peter, like back in the day. He was really against coilovers back in the day. He would only put the car on springs because back then coilover technology wasn't as superior as it is now.
Yeah.
So typically you bought a coilover and the dampener would leak or something, or the seals weren't as good. So he was really like, I'd never get coilovers. I'd get springs. And then I got obviously when I was first modding cars, I put springs on the cars. And then I noticed that like the wheel gap is not where I want it to be. And
ride quality is crap.
Ride quality was not the best. So I started looking into coilovers.
All right, let's stay on task here because now we're talking about coilovers.
Anyways, suspension would be changed. It would be much better.
Yeah.
So my number 2 pick would be a 997.1 turbo. For 150K, I think you can probably get one. You might even be able to find that unicorn with PCCBs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And again, I was thinking for him, like you talked about your love of the turbo, and I think that's a Porsche you would really like.
Yeah.
He's highlighted.
And you're going to get a manual,
Yeah.
like their manuals are more.
Dot 2 is about the same price point, though.
But you're not getting
no manual.
It's a harder. I think there are manuals, but it's harder to find. You're not going to get it for 100.
Not 150.
Not for 150 or
okay, sure.
There is Dot 2 manuals.
Yeah.
Dot 2s, but Yeah, the price point is you're over 200.
So, but I think 150 as per the assignment. I think a 997.1 turbo. You can probably get like a lower mileage one.
Yeah.
Manual PCCBs.
The only real difference, to be honest, visually, are the taillights.
Yeah.
Other than
the interior. The interior is huge.
PCM's different. The interior is different.
Whatever.
Taillights are different.
You can honestly, you can get like I'm sure there's kits you can buy, the PCM update kits.
It doesn't look the same.
Well, you can buy an Android base or whatever Google based one that connects to your phone, all that kind of stuff.
I would change trim and all that.
Yeah, you can.
There's stuff for that.
Anyways, I think as a base for modding and what I think is a wonderful car.
Actually, that's a good point. See, if I had done the assignment right, that would have been on my
right. Well, and my next pick. Shame on you, because you always talk about the GTS as the one that got away, and it wasn't on the list. So 997.2 GTS for 150K.
I was surprised you didn't choose that because you keep talking about how you let that car slip away. You didn't even mention it.
I know.
You know what? That's the sign. It was never a keeper.
Yeah.
No, I think I might have wanted to say GTS instead of GT3. I was just one character away from.
Oh, sure. It was a typo. It was a typo. That's all right. So for all the reasons, I love this car. The center lock.
I agree.
You've heard me talk a lot about that, and you've done a car story on it. So that for me is the pinnacle.
The thing is with 997s is that you can get like the GTS and the turbo with an aero kit. They look very similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Both center locks, you can get CCBs on the GTS, but you get a .2 GTS.
Yeah.
Not a .1 turbo, right? So there's a lot of.
I would do a .2.
I put it number one.
Yeah. I would do a .2 GTS over the turbo.
Yeah, hence why it's my number one spot.
Question then: 2S versus 4S, or
I would
GTS and 4 GTS.
I think the 2 GT. I have the 4, but I would get the 2 if it was the same price. You're gonna get the 2.
Yeah.
Probably, it depends on what's available.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'd like to replace my GT3 with the GTS.
Sure. You over.
We'll let it slide for Bull.
You can just edit that out.
Yeah.
Fine.
Just put a clip in there.
Those are good picks.
And I thought
just change your vocals on that clip. Like I want to 997.2.
Actually, AI could do that.
And as I did I was thinking like, could we win Lucas over on that? If you
that's why I asked earlier. Yeah.
For $150,000 Porsche.
So I have some choices.
Those three.
Yeah. There's my spectrum is pretty broad. So I have 3 choices. One being the 997.1 turbo, which is I think a phenomenal car because you get all the power that you have with the M3. It satisfies that category. You have the wider hips, the intakes. You have the nice rear bumper with exhaust. You have a back seat. You have a spoiler that kind of is integrated into the hatch. So great car, 150K. Second one, GT4. I think the GT4 is right at 150. And you have a manual GT car, modern. You can.
But first gen though, not the second gen.
The second gen.
The GT4, the facelift, the 718 versions, they're over 150.
No, there's some for even 148, 152. They're all about 150.
Really? Eh?
You're getting a steel brake car.
Actually, Mark Motors has one for 150.
So you're getting a steel brake car?
It'd be a steel brake car.
Ah, okay.
Well, so would the 997.1. It'd be a steel brake car.
No, the turbos you can get.
But to find one with PCCBs.
Nick has one.
Not one for PCCBs. It's around 150.
You can still find with PCCBs for 150. Just it's harder. There's just less of them.
So the GT4 had what, like the 918 or no, not 918. What was the generation before the 718 called?
981.
986, 981. Yeah.
So the GT4 in that generation with PCCBs with the manual under 150 grand.
I like.
You wouldn't want that one.
No, great. People say it actually drives and sounds better than the 718. I just don't like the front end.
I agree with that.
The 718 looks way better in my opinion. The back obviously is updated. I don't mind the back of the 981. I still think it looks fluid and very modern. But the front of even the headlight shape on the 981, I just find it's not very Porsche. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like rectangular almost. Yeah. The 718 flows with a lot of the Cayenne, Panamera, a lot of the triangular kind of design shape headlights on the other Porsches. Yeah. And I just find it's more aggressive, nicer looking front end, period. Bumper, everything put together.
I agree.
Interior's nicer.
Yes.
It's just a better looking car in my opinion. So, and there's nothing some headers and exhaust can't solve. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 2. What's number 1?
And number 1, or the last pick, is a 964.
Oh, yeah.
I
For
think
150?
yeah, you can
I
get
thought of that, but I just
you can get some
couldn't find an
for
example.
yeah.
Don't go turbo.
Not
No, I couldn't find.
Really, eh?
Yeah,
yeah.
but
There's a few for under 150 or 150-ish that are I think, and you can get ones actually for even 90, but they need work. So to get a nice one, you're at 150, but you can buy a project car, a 964. That as long as the biggest thing is the motor. Like most of those cars need rebuilds.
Yes.
So you have to find someone who can do it for you, or you have to find one that's been rebuilt by someone that's competent.
It's a good base for the retro modding, right? Like doing the
That's the
interior,
thing. There's so many cool retro mods for that platform. There's I forget the company. It's like 911 headlights or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Mashimoto?
No, it's a specific company.
Morimoto.
Not Morimoto.
But not them.
It's a different one. I think it's 911 headlights. That's what it's called. But they do a lot of retrofitted headlights for 964s, projectors with, so they look OEM. Like even the lenses are OEM. They're a little bit more clear, but they still have all the, I'm not sure what you call it, like the texture in the lenses that are like halogen lenses.
Okay.
But they're modern headlights.
LEDs, right?
So they're very OEM plus. And you can interior liners, the trunk liners,
Carl Sports
reupholstered.
Like you can do a guy down the floor that has done a bunch of these builds that you're describing. He's done a great job. I'll think of his name, but
do you work?
No, he's in Florida.
Okay.
Man, can you imagine? That would be a great a +1 to the garage, a GT.
But again, you're at 150. You're not at 60.
Yeah.
You're at 150, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be more of a replacement. And then it brings us back to, is that a car you can drive, every day here and there, go on cruises? It's an older car. You have to take a lot of things into consideration at that point. So, but yeah, top 3 picks. And I think we can all say 997.1 turbo or .2 GTS would be at that.
Doing the assignment in real time, doing it properly, the 997.2 GTS would be on my top pick.
Yep, it's my top pick.
And I would have taken out the GT3. I don't know why.
You know why? Like, so the only reason I would choose, let's say, that over 991.1 GT3 is because I'm a firm believer in buying like a top spec of a.
You're gonna get a better example GTS than a beat up.
Your
GT3.
money goes further for your.
Because you'll have a awesome example of a GTS instead of a low end, poor example of a GT3. And I prefer to go in, the.
And I do think the 997.2 is a better design than the 991s.
It looks nicer.
Yeah.
So far more fluid lines. The only thing is that I think for me, I would want to try and find something with carbon ceramics.
Yep.
But it'll be a hard find. But there's companies now that's providing inexpensive ways to get carbon rotors on,
It's
right?
funny you say that.
Yeah, you just dropped it.
Because the more I look at 991.2 GT3s, the more I'm okay with steel brakes. And I'll tell you why. One, I've seen guys replace them with AP racing kits that are still steel, but they have great pads.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference is I've been drawn into like a 19-inch EO7 BBS with more tire.
Yes.
And you can't fit them over CCBs. And I think that wheel, TJ Hunt, he built his GT3. Have you seen the series?
No.
Okay, we're gonna watch it after this.
But he made it fit though.
No, but
Did he not?
he made it. He had to shave like a little bolt somewhere on a steel brake car to make them fit.
Wow.
But if you see this car, like it looks better than. For some reason, the 19-inch wheels with the right width and offset and the tire on that generation.
It's on a 991.
991.2.
Okay.
And he put coilovers on the car. He put Ohlins. So obviously the stock coilovers don't go as low. And if you start lowering it too much, it obviously ruins the ride. Yeah. So Ohlins built on the coilovers, and he did it's a full build on this car. But
so add $100K to the budget, and we're good.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. So top picks.
There you go.
Yeah.
What are your top picks? We covered the 2 areas on winter cars for $60,000 and Porsche cars for $150,000.
And whose picks do you agree with? Prabul, Eric, or Lucas's?
I kind of failed this one, right? So
let's let the jury decide, okay?
I didn't take the assignment seriously, obviously. So, well, let us know in the comments below what you all think as well. where do we go with this?
So next podcast, shoot us some ideas. We're thinking, discussing Eric's dilemma here.
Yeah.
Replacing the GLC for another daily driver. Will his wife drive it? Like, is that a concern of his? Maybe,
her driving style, maybe a little haphazard, heavy foot.
Yeah. So.
You might need a bunch of rim guards.
Yes, kind of like monster truck tires.
Yeah, but and I think we should touch base on some trucks if people are interested. I think there's a huge market considering we're in North America and like that's what most of the people are buying now. There's such a wide variety of cars you can buy.
Yeah.
Like Eric mentioned, for even like a winter daily driver, trucks or SUVs. The road clearance is superior. The cargo, the utility, the aspect of towing, even. Hooking up a trailer or something for a snowmobile. There's so much more you can do with them, right? So
part of the reason why I had the Cayenne Turbo in my list was the towing aspect of it. So this summer, I'm debating
buying a snowmobile.
For the summer, yeah.
A dirt bike.
No, I was thinking I could trailer the GT3 RS to the track.
It'd be a great video.
Is this just for the picture or what?
No.
Why not just drive it there? It's for the photos. It's for the photos.
Yeah, all right.
No, so it's the empty miles. So every time I take the car over, I think, man, so this is part of the reason of like why I'm trying to maybe move away from the GT3 RS. It's that guilt of driving,
putting miles on
the car.
Like to the 80 kilometers to Calabogie or whatever, 100 kilometers. Yeah.
Do you know the thing is that like it's such a close, it's not that far, but even the ordeal of loading, you need a trailer.
Yeah.
Where do you keep it? You have to load it. You need assistance in loading it. You need someone, a spotter. You got to, strap the tires. Then you're towing. You got to make sure nothing's flying off the trailer. Make sure everything's, and then unloading at the track. And then there's so much more to do. When you're
okay, fine.
Unless you were running different wheels and tire setup on the track, like I don't.
Okay, fine.
Right, okay, all right.
Photo op.
We should have Dave, we should have Dave on the podcast because Dave had an E36 M3. He had an E46 M3.
Oh yeah.
The E36 was a built track car. He used to trailer that car to the track. He's got a lot of experience with that. Terry used to trailer his M3 to Toronto. We should have him on a virtual podcast here, or just tell him to come down. Yeah, but there's people
we could do a virtual podcast.
We can do have people on with who have trailering experience and just see what the pros and cons are.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. I think I'll do it once as a photo op and be done.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, let's wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Thank you all for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. Like, subscribe, comment down below on topics that you'd like to see next as well. And we'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all.